Picture this. You wake up one morning on a desolate island. No people, no buildings, no phones, just endless ocean stretching in every direction. How long could you survive? A week? Maybe a month? Now imagine doing it for over 4 years. This isn't fiction. This isn't a Hollywood movie. This is the true story of Alexander Selkirk, a Scottish sailor who was marooned on a deserted island and survived alone for 4 years and 4 months. His incredible tale of survival would later inspire one of the most famous adventure novels ever written, Robinson Crusoe. Today, we're diving deep into one of history's most remarkable survival stories. So buckle up, because this journey is going to be unforgettable. Our story begins in 1676 in a small coastal town in Scotland. Alexander Selkirk was born into a family of shoemakers, but he dreamed of adventure. Against his family's wishes, he ran away to sea. He learned the ropes quickly, becoming a hardened, skilled sailor. But Selkirk wasn't satisfied with ordinary voyages. He wanted excitement, he wanted danger, and he wanted wealth. So he joined a privateering expedition, essentially legal piracy, where ships were given permission to attack and plunder enemy vessels during wartime. This decision would lead him to the most extraordinary ordeal of his life. In 1703, Selkirk joined the crew of a privateering ship called the Cinque Ports as the sailing master, or chief navigator. The voyage was brutal from the start. Storms, disease, and battles with Spanish ships took their toll. The Cinque Ports suffered heavy damage. Cannibals had punched holes in her hull, and seawater was leaking in. The ship was dying. Selkirk could see it clearly. If they didn't stop for repairs, the ship would sink, taking everyone with her into the cold depths of the Pacific. But the ship's captain, Thomas Stradlin, refused to listen. Day after day, Selkirk warned the captain, "We need to stop. We need to repair the ship. If we continue, we'll all die." Captain Stradling was a proud, stubborn man. He saw Selkirk's warnings as cowardice. The two men clashed openly, their arguments turning into shouting match. Finally, in September 1704, the ship limped into the remote, uninhabited Juan Fernandez Islands, about 400 miles off the coast of Chile. The tension between Selkirk and Stradling exploded. "This ship is falling apart," Selkirk shouted. "I'd rather take my chances on this island than drown at sea. On your routing ship?" Stradling smiled coldly. "So, pe Italiano." The crew stared in disbelief as Selkirk gathered his few belongings: a musket, a hatchet, a cooking pot, a Bible, and some clothes. As the small boat rowed him to shore, the reality of what he'd done started to sink in. The moment his feet touched the island, panic seized him. "Wait," he called out to the departing boat. "I've changed my mind. Take me back." But it was too late. Captain Stradling ordered the boat to return to the ship. Alexander Selkirk stood alone on the beach, watching as the Cinque Ports sailed away, disappearing beyond the horizon. And then there was silence. He was completely alone. For the first few days, Selkirk just sat on the beach, staring at the empty horizon, convinced the ship would return. But no one came. Hunger finally forced him to move inland. The island was lush and mountainous, with freshwater streams and, most importantly, wild goats. Food was available, but catching it would require skills he'd never needed before. His first attempts at survival were pathetic. He wasted precious gunpowder trying to shoot goats. He made himself sick, eating raw shellfish. But slowly, painfully, he learned. He realized chasing goats with a gun was hopeless. So instead, he began running after them on foot. Day after day, he sprinted across the mountains, building his stamina. Eventually, he became so fast, he could catch goats with his bare hands. He taught himself to make fire reliably. He built 2 shelters from branches and grass. He fashioned clothing from goat skins. He even found companions, several semi-wild cats that lived on the island. He befriended them, and they helped keep rats away from his shelters and provided something more valuable than food companionship. Physical survival was only half the battle. The greater enemy was loneliness. Imagine, no human voice for months on end. The isolation was crushing. Selkirk began talking to himself just to hear a human voice. He sang hymns and read his Bible so many times, he practically memorized it. There were moments when he contemplated ending it all, but something kept him going. Maybe it was faith. Maybe it was stubbornness. Or maybe it was the faint hope that, one day, a ship would come. Rescue nearly came twice, but not how he'd hoped. About a year into his ordeal, he spotted a ship. He built a huge signal fire, but as the ship drew closer, his joy turned to horror. It was a Spanish ship, the enemy. If they found him, they would kill him or drag him to a prison. He fled into the jungle, hiding as sailors came ashore. They passed within yards of his hiding spot, completely unaware. After they left, Selkirk collapsed, shaking. After that, he stopped lighting signal fires. It was too dangerous. For years and 4 months after being marooned, on February 2nd, 1709, Selkirk spotted 2 ships. He watched them carefully. British flags. He could barely believe it. This time, he lit his signal fire. The ships were commanded by Captain Woodes Rogers, who had stopped for water, never expecting to find anyone. When the rescue party came ashore, they found what they thought was a wild man, covered in goat skins, with a beard down to his waist. But when this creature spoke, it was in rough but unmistakable English. "I am Alexander Selkirk." The sailors were stunned. After 1,581 days of solitude, he was finally saved. Alexander Selkirk's story became famous in England, and in 1719, a writer named Daniel Defoe used it as inspiration for his novel, Robinson Crusoe. But here's the most incredible part. The ship Selkirk refused to sail on the Cinque Ports. It sank just months after abandoning him. Most of the crew drowned. The survivors were captured and spent years in brutal prisons. Selkirk's stubbornness had saved his life. His story shows us that the human spirit is stronger than we imagine, that we can adapt to almost anything, and that hope can keep us alive. If you found this story inspiring, please like this video and subscribe for more incredible true stories from history. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.